Holy smokes, we got a big one here today, folks. We are going to talk about how in the heck kids at a camp in Juneau, Alaska drink floor sealant instead of milk. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, and it happens because of some major fails. So we're going to look at those right now. In every single safety and health program, we have to really be well trained, and we have to avoid the complacency. Complacency kills. You guys have heard that before, I'm sure. But here's the thing. How does a container of floor sealant end up in a milk container and given to 12 children, 2 adults, and they all drink it? This is just nuts, and it leads up to some plain old stupidity. Don't be stupid. All right, if you're a supervisor, you got to train your staff. And this really is where it comes down to. There's several elements in here where staff are untrained. And the first is in this concept of not mixing chemicals with food products, ever. So if you've heard how this happened, the warehouse delivered milk and floor sealant on the same pallet from their warehouse. Now, I was out doing an inspection recently at a school district, and I came across some grill cleaner that was mixed in with food product. And I said to the guy that's working the warehouse that's actually packing up the pallets, I said, look, basic rule here. We never mix chemicals with food. Ever, period. Never, ever. If you have a leak, then the food product gets contaminated, and all of the food product is then damaged. If we're on an environmental bent here, then it's a big waste of water and earth and soil and nutrients and time and emissions into the air just to farm stuff. So don't be ruining your food products. Number 2, it's poisoning you if it gets contaminated, and you may not know it right away, right? You may not get to that back pallet right away, and it may look like, oh, you have a little bit of water damage, but in fact, you have some other chemical on there. So you never mix food and chemicals, period. Ever, never. I see this all the time when I go to the grocery store. The bagger just starts to put all the Windex and Lysol and all these things in with your food products. No, the answer is no. No, 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 no. Don't do it, ever. The next thing is, why is there no process to check in the products that you got? You got floor sealant and milk delivered on the same pallet, and we'll talk about how they transfer it. Like, it makes zero sense there, but you never check it in. You don't check it in and separate. You're too busy. You just get a pallet of milk and you just shove it in the fridge. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You have to have a bill of lading, right? Or in the warehouse situation from district to site, you should be receiving some type of piece of paper that says this is what we're delivering. Floor sealant, milk. Hey, I ordered 12 gallons of milk and I got 13 containers here. Something's off. Check it. You have to check these things. You absolutely have to check them. So that's mistake or fail number 2, okay? The next is really where it begins, and that is in the labeling of the products. So if you've ever heard of Barefoot Wine, it's #1 selling wine all around the world, but the #1 selling wine is Barefoot. And Barefoot is that way partially because of what the owners did in order to properly label their wine containers. So they tell a story of when they were trying to increase sales and they were getting a lot of missed shipments from the warehouse. So they went to the warehouse and they talked to the forklift operator, and they said, the forklift operator said, hey, it's dark in here. I got all these pallets of wine to move and all your wine looks the same. He said, you know what? It's funny because they said it's a master class here. So they said, the forklift driver said to them, here's what you have to do. It should be visible from 3 feet away. It should be a different color so I don't have to go up there and read exactly what it is. I know Merlot is purple. I know Chardonnay is yellow. And so easily identifiable colors. And when they did that, the errors went down. Same type of thing here. How do you mix up milk and floor sealant? It's because the labeling is just not that much different, or there's no labeling on it at all. And we know that the safety data sheets, GHS now requires proper labeling on the containers. So what happened here was that these kids in Juneau, Alaska are running the camp. They get milk and floor cleaner together and they say, okay, we transfer, why you do this? You transfer the floor sealant, which comes in a big pouch, a big plastic pouch. You've probably seen them like at McDonald's where they pour in the vanilla cream into the frozen ice cream making machine and then it spits out ice cream. Well, they're transferring these big things of milk, what they think is milk, which is actually floor sealant, into milk containers to serve to the kids. Well, guess what? We got problems now. And obviously these aren't properly labeled. I mean, they're not properly labeled because anybody should be able to see if it says floor sealant, that it's not milk. So that's our other big fail. And lastly, folks, it just comes down to training. Lots and lots of training. You should know what you're getting. You should have a trained person receiving the materials, not just anybody and just, okay, that's what we got. But this is our society today. Fault versus responsibility. Where's the responsibility? Who's taking the time to learn their job? That's really what we got to talk about. We have to get this enacted. And then the kicker here is that no one tells the parents for a long time. I mean, how do you respond to that if you just drank a glass of floor sealant and you got to get it out of your body? I mean, the long-term effects to this are going to be unknown at this time. But the question is, how do you get floor sealant into a kid's stomach? Well, you make a lot of really stupid errors that are completely unavoidable. So I'll say this to you. Don't think that these things don't happen. They do. They happen all the time. I say it and I say it and I say it and people laugh at me and people make fun of me and people don't want to actually take what I have to say to heart and implement it. They think I'm a jokester. I'm not. I'm telling you. I have been working in the insurance, risk management, loss control, safety, human resource, workers' compensation world for a very long time. And I have to tell you, the amount of dumb, stupid stuff that I see is unreal. And the point is, it doesn't have to be. You have to take the time. I can remember going out to a client and we were talking about hazardous chemical spills on a thoroughfare through their campus that they opened up to the public, and the warehouse manager said to me, oh, I guess we got to prepare for aliens now. No, you don't have to prepare for aliens coming down, but you should prepare for things that happen, like a truck coming through with waste on it that spills it, or if they're picking up hazardous waste at your facility and driving off of your facility, they could spill it. That's simple, right? So don't laugh it off. Again, here these things happen, and it comes down to those basic premises. Untrained staff, bad labeling, no process, no procedure, no way to check it in. Let's get it together, folks. Let's stop this from happening. Read up on the articles, enjoy. I hope you found this helpful, but what's the takeaway? Be responsible and get trained.